Welcome to episode 38 of the LorainCounty.com Business Insights Podcast. I'm your host, Ed Skimmon, and today we're talking with Brian Baker, candidate for Lorain County Commissioner. Join us as Brian shares his motivations for running, his vision for restoring trust and integrity, and his focus on using local labor and supporting businesses. He also discusses the role of technology in government and the importance of community involvement in making Lorain County more business-friendly. This episode is part of the 2024 Candidate Spotlight Series aimed at providing an additional way to learn about local leaders running for office. Before we get started, I wanted to share a quick disclaimer. Both of the companies I co-founded, Emerge Inc. and LorainCounty.com, have professional relationships with some of the candidates, and I also count a few of them as personal friends. To ensure fairness, we invited all local candidates to participate and record an episode completely free of charge. Each candidate running for the same office was asked the exact same questions, and aside from removing any unnecessary sounds and long pauses, we kept the editing to a minimum. For a full list of local candidates and issues, visit loraincounty.com/election. And on election night, visit loraincounty.com for real-time election results. Here is my conversation with Brian Baker.
Brian Baker. I'm running for the office of Lorain County Commissioner.
Welcome, Brian. Thanks for joining us and sharing your insights. Let's start with what motivated you to run for Lorain County Commissioner?
I was always involved as a labor leader and a community activist when I was here, moved to D.C., and when I came back home, started attending meetings and was frustrated about not using local labor in the community. Some of the things where they tried to expand government to the 7 commissioners. The other piece is they wanted to outlaw wind and solar in Lorain County for unincorporated cities, and I'm an electrician, so I didn't think that was very good. So the more I started watching some of those things, they bothered me and made me think, wait a minute, I'm going to step up for the working class.
Can you outline your main priorities if you're elected Lorain County Commissioner?
Just to return trust and integrity. We need to listen to people what's going on. We don't need to tell them what they need to know. We need to listen to them, and we might not even agree with them, but then we need to come to a compromise and figure out what is going to be good. So my goal would be and one of the main ones is this radio contract. It's been controversial in the county. I think we need to make sure that we put all the players in the room to make sure we have what our safety forces need. That's my major one. The other piece would be just to use local people here and retain our businesses. We don't need to see people like Nordson leaving, and we don't need to see the company down in LaGrange. We don't need them leaving. We need to retain them and expand here.
How would your election and the implementation of your priorities benefit local businesses?
I come out of the IBW. The IBW has contractors that are all small businesses. We have some larger ones, but small. So I think we need to work to make sure that we provide them qualified people here. We need to have qualified people wherever we are to make a business grow. So my goal would be to listen to their needs of what they need. Maybe lower workman's comp, maybe lower whatever. And if that's something we can pool or whatever we do in the county, that's what we need to work on to make sure we retain them here. And they don't leave to either one of our neighbors in Erie County or Cuyahoga County.
What role do you see technology and innovative practices playing in the future of local government and the Lorain County Commissioner's office?
Technology is coming. We need to grasp it. We need to figure out how it works. The part that we need to do is, as you know, in government, it moves very slow. We need to make sure that we do it correctly, and we need to educate people of why we need technology. I look at myself. I learned how to be somewhat tech. I'm not a tech guy, but I use it. We have to. It's the nature. I'll give you a quick little story. I look at my kids, and I can call them on the phone. They don't answer me. I text them, they answer me back in 2 seconds. And they could be right in the other room. But I think we need to make sure that we educate people why we need it and how we make it grow forward. Technology is coming. We have to grasp it.
What trends do you see in Lorain County, and how would you like to see local government and the Commissioner's office adapt to these changes?
At times, I don't think we were business friendly here. I think we wanted to tell people what they had to do, and we lost some big corporations because of it. I think our goal would be, how do we bring people in? I think it is attractive. Me, moved back from D.C., this is my home. I saw things they did there that were good, but I see things here. It's a hometown place. It's us. And I think we need to make sure that we tell people about what we have here. We have the lake. We do nothing with the lake. We've never done nothing with the lake. We tore the pellet terminal down in, 2004, and we still have a blank place people might go fish. We need to figure that out with the lake. We also have the agricultural down in the southern part of the county. We still need agricultural, but we need to, if we're going to talk about wind and solar and move to some of that stuff, we need to make sure that we do it with a good footprint. I do give the county credit. They've done this 5-year plan. I know the Business hasn't come out. I've attended pretty much all of those meetings. I believe in it. The other piece I think we need to do is we need to have a trend of, I call it a drain game of our smart kids going off to college and then coming back here. But they have to come back to a job. So we have to figure that out. And I'm going through that. My oldest granddaughter just left for Kent State yesterday. And I hope when she's done, she comes back to Lorain County.
If elected Lorain County Commissioner, how will you define success? What metrics will you use to measure your progress towards that success?
I think the success would be if we can have people not complaining about what we're doing. They're at least, they might complain about maybe a piece of it, but how can we work with everybody to get something that's better for the community? So what I would say is we're constantly in the paper negative. So my success would be is we're saying something positive in Lorain County, not negative. And why would any business move here when we sue each other? Every time I read the newspaper, and I'm not a Facebooker as much, I do pay attention to it, but it's negative. This is a great place to live. We should promote that.
Let's switch over and talk a little bit about you. What's your background?
I'm a 40-year member of the IVW, went through an electrician apprenticeship program, best thing I ever did in my life. Was able to raise 2 daughters. Now I have been married to my wife for 42 years. I have 10 grandkids, 9 girls, 1 boy. The other piece is in for me is I got involved. I became our business manager of my local, which was a full-time union official. But what I knew is we had to be in the community. Labor gets a bad rap. Some of it's deserved, some of it's not deserved. But I think I wanted to make the change to say is we're good people. And that's why I work so much in the community. To define me, and I'll give you the one, and the Labor Day Fest was probably one of my biggest things that I always worked on. And I know a lot of people don't know the reason it was done is we were on hard times at that time. And so we all pooled our money and we could have a family come out there for $1 and they could get 2 hot dogs, a bag of chips, and a can of pop. They could ride a ride for 25 cents. And I think we have forgot that. So like me, I've been community oriented for a long time. I think quietly you do things. I don't think you need to tell the world all the time, but I think you work to help people. And that's hopefully what defines me is I'm about people.
In your professional career, what are you most proud of accomplishing?
When I got into this apprenticeship, I never, ever in my lifetime ever thought I'd work in Washington, D.C. Went to Washington, D.C. There's our issues in Washington, D.C. I was our political director. And then my biggest thing is I got to be my international president, chief of staff. So you're going to say this 24-year-old kid came in and was an electrician, and he went all the way to D.C., and he became over an organization that had 550 employees, and you watch the day-to-day operations. That's probably my most fulfilling. I do know that after 15 years there, it was time to come home. And my family, I still have my mom and my mother-in-law, one's 88 and one's 87, so we're here to take care of them now. So that hopefully what defines me, but that's my most thing that I do, and my family. I'm all about family.
Outside of work, what are your hobbies and interests, and how do these help recharge you?
The biggest thing I do is some off-sign aging. I do some stuff over there, like to volunteer over there. I do a thing with my mom, which is our family does. It's called Table of Plenty at St. Agnes Church in Elyria. My hobbies are I watch my grandkids play sports and things like that. That would be my biggest thing. And then I still do donate some time now. I'm actually working on the Hispanic Veterans Memorial over at Oakwood Park. I was given a craft and I can give back a little bit. I'm retired now. That's what I would say gets me rejuvenating. There's its days. If you can do something nice for someone, that kind of gives you that next step going forward.
Last question. What else should voters know about you prior to voting in November?
I will listen to anybody. I'll give them my ear. I know that I cannot promise them the world. I can't tell them I'm going to do this. I can try to get what's done. In government, it takes 3 votes. You got to get 2 of them to make something move. But I'm willing to listen to them and try to put things together. And I've even offered up to the safety forces, let's put a committee together of a fire chief and a police chief and a rank and file officer and a rank and file firefighter. Let's figure out what's good for us in the community and what they're going to use. We don't need to spend money and then have forces not use the system that we're going to build. So that would be like what people should know about me is I think I'm a problem solver. My biggest thing is hopefully I can earn their trust. And I thought over my years, I've always had my integrity, and my integrity is always going to win out. And if it doesn't, then I'm done. I'm not going to run again. So I guess that's what I'd like them to know is it's just my thing is trust and integrity, and I'm willing to listen. I can't tell you I'm going to give you the answer you want to hear every time, but I'm willing to try to work through it.
Finally, where can people get more information on your candidacy and connect with you?
I do have a Facebook page up. It's called Friends of Brian Baker. I also have a website up. It's friendsofbrianbaker.com. They can go in there and look it up. Also, I'm just out. I've been doing some door-to-door. I've been walking and talking to people just to let them know who I am. but anybody can reach out to those and they can get a message to me. And I'm learning this, what do you call it, like a private message. I didn't even know what it was till I started doing it, but I understand it now. People send me a message. I'll try to get back to them.
Thanks, Brian, for joining us and sharing your insights.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the LorainCounty.com Business Insights Podcast. We hope you found this conversation informative and that it provided some ideas that will help your business continue to grow. Please follow us on your favorite podcast platform to hear each episode where we shine a spotlight on local resources that will boost your business. And we want to hear from you. Email ed@loraincounty.com to share your feedback and topic ideas.